Yes, I started with voiceovers. I was about 15, 14, going on 15, when I've always been curious about the media world, not just the entertainment space, but the media world generally. And I remember that the late Jaya Bodering of blessed memories, I encountered him at some event, and one day I just reached out and I said, "Look, sir, I need a job. I want to do something." And he was like, "How old are you?" And I said, 14, going on 15. He was like,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Just for Women Africa. My name is Olaliko Amusa, the founder of Just for Women Africa, and today we're on a Zoom call all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. We have with us Chioma Okapala. Chioma is a communication consultant. She's been in the business for 25 years, and she's a voice-over content creator. Welcome to the show, Chioma.
very much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Chioma. Could you tell viewers a little bit about yourself?
Okay. So my name is Chioma Okapala. That's my government name, but everyone calls me Chioma BBB. The BBB is big, bold, and beautiful. I always introduce myself in the professional field as the professional voiceover artist first, and then I'm in the media. I'm a creative consultant, and I train on what is called experiential communication. Um, I am I'm the daughter of a pastor. Very proud to say that I'm a pastor's kid. We are 7 kids. We're 8, lost one, so 7. I am the 4th of the 7 kids. I'm not sure what else to tell you. I studied French language at the University of Lagos, and well, I'm in the media. I know.
All right, that's great. That's great to go. First of all, what is an experimental communicator?
Experiential communication. So it's very simple. It's as simple as it sounds, really. Experiential communication simply means that when you encounter someone, you have an experience. So you choose how you want the experience to go, how I should feel at the end of a conversation with you. So just calling awareness to the fact that you determine the encounter I will have with you and what I'll remember. The truth is, whether a good or bad encounter, there's a tendency to remember it, right? So if I encountered you for the first time and it went off really bad, if I met you again, even if I never remembered it until I met you again, it's very easy for that to come calling. It's easier to remember bad things, and bad encounters than good ones, because after a few smiles, you might move on. So basically, just understanding that you are creating an experience for someone that encounters you, and being conscious about the things to do to make sure that that experience is one that they remember on a very happy note.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Okay, that brings me to my next question. You've been in the business for 25 years. How did you get into the communication consulting business and doing voiceovers and all?
Yes, I started with voiceovers. I was about 15, 14, going on 15, when I've always been curious about the media world, not just the entertainment space, but the media world generally. And I remember that the late Jaya Bodering of blessed memories, I encountered him at some event, and one day I just reached out and I said, "Look, sir, I need a job. I want to do something." And he was like, "How old are you?" And I said, 14, going on 15. He was like, "Please go home and let your parents take care of you." And I remember saying to him, "All fingers are not equal." And then that caught his attention. And the next question he asked me was, "What can you do?" And I said, "Well, I can sing, I can talk, and so on and so forth." I remember that encounter because it changed my life. He made a call to somebody that became a very close friend to me, Mr. Femi Olaya, working for a certain agency. And he said, "Oh, I'm going to send someone to you." He didn't say give her a job, help her out. He said, check her out and see what she's got." And that was the life-changing call for me. So this was a Friday. I remember coming to the island, made my way through buses. I think when I was leaving, a Kota roundabout, if you leave around Lagos, I got to this bus and I was 5 naira short. And so I had to wait for a fresh bus, literally beg the conductor that insulted me. And then I got into that, but that changed my life. So I had a meeting for Monday back on the island, in that studio. And that was where my life, started to change. When I got to that studio, I said, oh, I'm so and so person from Uncle Jaya Boderi. And they said, oh, okay, and gave me a bunch of scripts and said, let's see what you can do. And basically, that's how my career started, because back in the day, not now that, you don't need to go anywhere to audition. They can check you out on social media and, that's it. I gave them a few lines. You will go in, you will state your name, you will state your phone number. I didn't have a phone then. My mother had a phone. So I would call my mother's phone number, and then I would deliver the lines. And just in case, just to be sure that in case you missed the number the first time, call it again at the end and they'll record it. So when they're going through, they're looking for voices for a job, they go through the list of the auditions they've done, and then they can pick and choose. So that's where my career basically started, in the voiceover space. Before that, I was acting. Oh yes, I was acting. I started home videos back in the day, and that's how I met the amazing Stella Abodering. And it was through her I met her husband. Yes.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You got a job just by approaching somebody and by a phone call, and it changed your life overnight.
The other small details of, keeping, so I kept on communicating with him. So from time to time, I would meet him in church, or from time to time, I would just send one of those. So this is back in the day, right? There was a time in Nigeria when MTN started, in Nigeria, you would just find that you can send a lot of text messages and they're not taking your money. And then all of a sudden, one day you come and send and see like 1,500 naira credit, and pew, it's gone. All the text messages you've been sending since. So I was using those opportunities to send messages to people. I would send, God bless you, nice messages to people. And he was somebody that from time to time he'll call back and say, who is this? And I'll restate who I was, until that day that I made the call to say, sir, I need a job. But again, I remember that what I would never forget about him was he never said, oh, take it on a platter of gold. He always said, go and let's see what you got. So he gave me the chance to at least try something out.
Okay, all right, Chioma, that's great to hear. All right. So do you remember your very first voiceover call from the very first content creation you did? And how old were you?
Voiceover, yes, I do. Content creation, wow. Don't I do it every day? So that's going to be hard to track. But I remember I was doing a particular voiceover for MTN in that agency. And then they decided that they just hit their 1 million subscribers. And I could sing as well. And, they checked me out singing as well in that audition. And so the guy just said, you know what, hold on, I might have something for you. And I did the first 1 million. It was a thank you song from MTN when they hit 1 million subscribers. There's a young man that did it with me. I think he was working with MTN at the time. His name was Felix. The fact that I remember is a little scary, but yes, I've never thought about it since that day. Yes, so it was a 1 million subscribers thank you song. And that's where it started.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, come to think about it, that's really, really amazing. So that was 25 years ago. What has been the industry been like for you as a woman over the last 25 years?
It has been a roller coaster, but there's been a lot of growth, I must say, as well. Coming from where we started, when we will hop from agency to agency, whether you know them or you don't know the people in there, you have to, create a presence for yourself when you get to the security, so that he can look at you and think you are more than who you are, who you are at the gate, so he can let you in. So you have to come up with, good stories to let you in. And I would go to agencies and I'd say, oh, I'm going to the production department, because they're not sure, who you're looking for. And because voiceover artists used to pop in and out, a few questions, if you can maneuver your way and then get those opportunities. Now, again, you don't have to go to these agencies to audition. Your audition is anywhere. People can check you out on social media and say, oh, I like that voice, and DM you and say, oh, we'd like you to come and do a voice job for us. So that has grown over time. My radio experience as well has grown over time. A lot of things have changed, and a lot of things are nearer to you. And another thing that I would say is available to you is training. We didn't have a lot of training at the time. We would literally just observe people. If you get a chance to be in the studio, because I was a studio rat. I would go to the studio even when I'm not working, and I'd just be observing people work, and I'd be, trying to understand and listen closely and see how they do their thing. And that helped me greatly to learn. Now, training is available to you. Anybody can reach out to you. You can go on YouTube. You can go on, all the media avenues, and then there are tips and free trainings here and there for you. So I'd say that the industry has totally evolved. Totally. Same thing with radio. I've been in radio, I don't know, since 2008, 9. Yes. And I would say now, if we're being honest, there's still more radio stations coming up, but terrestrial radio is not the, be all anymore. There are now online radio stations. You can now have a lot of, avenues to listen to music, and there's podcasts. There's so many avenues to get the same thing. So while that has expanded, it's also kind of been sort of tricky to keep one single system. You also constantly have to evolve. So even if you're on terrestrial radio, you need to find a way to keep yourself out there, in the media space online.
25 years, I'm sure it's not all been rosy. What has been some of your challenges? Have you ever gotten a job turned down because you're a woman?
Yes, it was a man's world for the longest time. You would, maybe if you're lucky, you get a lady's job. Maybe she's having a monologue inside of an advert, for instance. And then a guy will come and do the announcer, and you would see a script, and you would see the script and say to yourself, but this is something that a woman should deliver. But at the time, you had to have a certain kind of voice. Same thing on radio, same thing with voiceover artistry. You had to have a certain kind of heaviness in your voice as a man, and carry that weight with which you would deliver. Now things have evolved in such a way that any voice is welcome. The Uncle Femi Showolus of the time, the Auntie Daphnes, were very unique, particular, because they didn't just have good English, but they had impeccable, British standard English. And so the Auntie Daphnes would do a job, the Tosans would do a job in the voiceover industry. It was not easy to get a job. They were just a niche of people, a number of people. You can count them in one hand at the time. And so you will go and get rejection because you're a girl or you're a woman, and because you don't have that certain type of voice. That was a constant challenge. I remember introducing guys into the industry, and they would do a ton more jobs because, announcers are for men. But today, we have a lot of announcers in an ad being women. So a lot has changed over time. The challenge at the time, a lot of times, if you had 10 jobs in the studio, maybe if you're lucky, one job will be for a woman, or maybe a conversation in the middle of the ad then will be for a woman as well, if you're lucky. So a lot has changed. I'd say that the world is, more accommodating, more flexible, versatile, and any kind of voice can come in as long as you can, hit it. The brother Shaggy is now a voiceover artist. Jennifer is a voiceover artist. And I'm talking about the Jennifer, the Strata Khan. She's now a voiceover artist. And she has a place. In the past, in 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't necessarily find a place for them because they were not prim and proper. So I would say a lot has evolved.
Well, definitely things have evolved over the years. Okay, you've been in the business for 25 years. Can you give out a list of people or companies you've done work for or content for? To so that other women who are in the industry who are now starting off can know that yeah, they can make it just where you have made it too.
Wow. If I start, okay, it'll be tricky. I cannot count the number of, I have worked for when Airtel was Zain, was them, before then, it wasn't Airtel, Airtel Zain, and before then it was Econet. So from the Econet days, MTN, Glow, Starcoms, I'm telling you, like back in the day. Now forward, I would say I've worked for certain one or two oil and gas companies I might not want to mention. I have worked for banks. I've done ads, documentaries for banks. I've worked for EDC, that is Enterprise Development Center of the Lagos Business School. I've done translations for them as well. I have done radio dramas. I have done podcasts. I did a podcast last year for Circular Lagos on recycling. I've worked with NCIC, Nigeria Climate Innovation Center. So I know, like, if you start to talk about that, we will not leave here. I have worked for a plethora of people. And I'm very, very excited because every single one is different. And the other thing that would be a very interesting competition is being able to work for as many telecom companies and being able to make each voice stand out for the brand, because all the telecom companies, even in today's world, the Glow, MTN, the Airtel, 9Mobile, they all sound different. They're the same scripts might be in front of you, but their tones, their energies, the personalities of the people that are delivering the voiceover are different. And so, yes. And I sat in rooms creating ideas with quite a bunch of people. I was the head of programs for Inspiration FM until I left last year, through COVID until last year. And again, that was another very interesting time in my life. So I have worked with quite a number of people. We won't leave here if I mention all their names.
Okay, Chioma, of course. I mean, I can imagine your CV is quite long. I mean, all the people you work for. Okay, which brings me to my next question. You mentioned things have evolved. There's now social media. People can go and check. Doesn't that mean that there's more competition and people will need to change the way they're doing things? And what do you think the future for content creation and communication is going to be like in the future?
Is there more competition? Yes, absolutely. There's competition for your target audience, which varies every day. There's competition for the businesses because they have different, everybody wants to come out and stand out. There's competition for as an OAP, as a voiceover artist, as a content creator. There's competition because, again, the world keeps evolving. We're in a time where people are very impatient, absolutely impatient. Before, as a music head, they'll tell you the first 30 seconds of the song will determine whether or not I'm interested in it. Now, people are like 10, 15 seconds tells you, if you're going to keep listening to that song. So there's constant competition, and there will always be competition, which is a good thing, because without competition, people don't update, people don't grow, people don't become better. So I think that how do you stand out would be the question you should always ask yourself. How do I make sure that whatever I'm bringing to the table is not just what anybody else brings to the table? What are my unique capabilities as a person? And then what is the brand about? A lot of people don't pay attention or respect a brand. And so if you think that you're coming into the space because, oh, you know what, I can do it, If you don't understand the brand, you might be great at it, but do a really crappy job with the brand. And that's it. You've lost your opportunity. So yes, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, definitely does. Okay, so we're about to round up the interview. What's the future for Chioma BB Okapala?
Oh my gosh, the future is big and huge. I say that I'm many things to many people because over the years, you'd be shocked at the things that I have done. I was a professional backup singer. I used to sing for the Ashas. I was a jazz and soul person. So I used to sing for the Ashas. I had to back up for Asha at some point. Cobhams, Bears, you name it. Omaomi at some point in time. So again, I keep learning. I find that the creative space is so big and there's so many things happening at every point in time. The future is me just being involved in and staying current and staying up to date with whatever. I'm into art direction right now. I'm going into production management, which is fun. And I've been given opportunities by people who had never met me. You know what I mean? Like you walk into a room and you just stand and speak for yourself. And opportunities come to you. I know that it's not always as easy for everyone, but it's to keep at your craft. Because if you don't keep at it, you don't get better. And if you don't know what's happening in that space, you're only going to go so far. So for me, the opportunities are endless. I'm not going to cap it on anything. I'm going to keep creating as much content, sharing as much knowledge because I train voiceover artists and broadcasters and, customer service and all of that. So trainings, I'm still training, I'm still learning, I'm still, putting my hands into places that are new and interesting to me.
All right, Chioma, that's really good to hear. Okay, which brings me to my very last question to you. To all the women all over Africa who are watching, who will be watching this interview in Nigeria and beyond, what is your advice to women out there?
You are beautiful. You are amazing. You've got it going. I've had someone tell me in the past that, look, you cannot enter the entertainment or media space if you don't lose weight. I've been a big girl all my life and I've come this far. And so no matter what you are, big, small, whatever you are, stand in front of a mirror and say, this is the only body I have. This is the only me there is. And it is beautiful. Keep pushing and know who you are. I keep talking about this. Man, know thyself and to thyself be true. So woman, know thyself and to thyself be true. Because when you're true to yourself, there's no lie that anyone can tell you that will cause you to feel small. Don't feel small. You're in a process. If you look at your life in the last 5 years, you have grown. In some way, at the very least, you have grown. So just keep growing, keep being better, keep striving for look, the sky is not your limit. The heavens is your limit. So just keep pushing until you get to where you're going. And you can. We're rooting for you.
I like that. We're rooting for you. Okay, thank you, Chioma, for coming on the show. We wish you all the best as you celebrate 25 years in the business. We wish you another 25 to 30 to 40 years in the business. And we look forward to doing another interview with you again in the future. All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So everybody who's been watching, this is Just for Women Africa. And till the next show from Chioma and I, it is bye. All right.